Hello everyone, I'm Ffxiv, and we're going to talk about Heavensward, and I am super hyped to talk about Heavensward. Like, you have no idea. I was so impressed with the story. It was way better than I could have even possibly conceived of. It blew my mind. But before we do that, there will be spoilers in this video. So if you don't want anything spoiled and you haven't seen or haven't played through Heavensward, go ahead and click off now. Also, I've gotten a new microphone. I hope it improves the content as far as audio quality and stuff like that. But I mostly got it for streaming. I will be live streaming here soon-ish, at least in the coming weeks. I've been intentionally slow rolling Stormblood so that I could get all this streaming content and streaming hardware, I should say, put together properly. Hopefully everything works out really well. It should be here. I should have everything up and running here soon. There will be an announcement on the channel, obviously. If you want to watch me live, you can. You don't have to. I'll still be making these videos. But yeah, with that being said, let's get right into it. So to start off, I just want to say that I was completely blown away by the fact that the story from A Realm Reborn didn't just end, and it actually did carry over through into Heavensward, and it looks like it's going into Stormblood even, because I know a lot of people said, hey, it actually goes through into further expansions, and characters that you thought you would never see again end up coming back, and so on and so forth, all this other stuff. I gotta be honest, I know there was a bunch of people in my comments saying that that's what happened, and I was like, okay, I don't really believe you, because I kind of felt like the story ended with the dinner party in A Realm Reborn, where basically everybody was killed, and there was a bunch of betrayals, and the Scions of the Seventh Dawn fell apart. I just assumed that pretty much everybody was dead or missing, and that was going to stay that way. And they did that in order to end the story for A Realm Reborn. But it actually, it just carries right through. You end up saving pretty much everybody that you had assumed was dead, or I had assumed was dead. And it's kind of crazy. You end up saving Raubon, making a deal with one of those nasty Lalafels, because they're all evil, and finding out that the princess, who I'm forgetting her name, Nanamo or something like that, end up finding out that she wasn't actually assassinated, and she was really just put to sleep. She wakes up, she's fine, and basically everybody through the whole story ends up coming back, or you end up saving them in one way or another, and start to rebuild the Scions of the Seventh Dawn. That's just one of the plot lines, the threads that are going through the whole expansion. The main plot line of Heavensward itself, because it has its own self-contained story, and that's the 1,000-year war with the dragons, and that's pretty crazy, because it's so much deeper than you expect it to be, so much more emotional than I thought it was going to be. Basically this whole society is based on a lie, and it's believed that basically the dragons had started this war forever ago. It's the basis for their whole religion, their political system, literally everything. There's a caste system, it seems within the city, in their society. Everything is based off this lie that the dragons started the war. And you end up finding out when you first talk to Ffxiv, I think his name is, one of the dragons, the bigger dragons. When you first talk to him after you get the horn, basically you end up learning that it's all a lie. It's all a lie. And you tell Americ that, hey, this is what actually happened. Other people have seen it. What's her name? Yselle or something like that. Yselle. She has the echo as well. She's seen that the whole society is based on a lie. She's one of the people that's been branded a heretic, who ends up being a huge part of the story. She at some point sacrifices herself to basically buy you time, because she can turn herself into, God, I don't remember the name of the lady. Basically, the lady that Hraesvelgar was in love with. She can turn herself into that person as a primal, and she does that to fight off the Empire or whatever they are, to buy you some time so that you can. I forget what we were doing, but basically she saves you and sacrifices herself. And Hraesvelgar actually shows up at that time, even though he hates you, to help on her behalf, which is just, it was so epic. And then there's other moments where it's like the Ascians are colluding with Emeric's father, I guess, who's also the Archbishop of the city, which is basically their leader. And they're colluding to kill the Warrior of Light, and they're about to assassinate you when Archafon, I think is how you say his name. It's like not even close to how it's spelled, but Arushafon, something like that, jumps in front of the Spear of Light that's coming towards you and blocks it. And obviously his shield can't block it. It blasts through his shield, and he takes the hit for you. And that was really emotional for me. That was really really difficult to see. Yeah, stuff like that really hits close to home for me. Like hit me in the chest. It's the best way to put it. Yeah. So those two people die basically in an effort to save you and your mission to end the 1,000-year war, because you and Emeric know the truth. Estinian, Alphino, like you're all like fighting to try to end this war and create peace between the dragons and the elves, and obviously the Archbishop doesn't want that. He ends up using one of the eyes of Nidhogg, who's an evil dragon that was ripped out of his skull, because the dragon eyes are like super powerful. They have hold like shitloads of ether and stuff like that. So he uses that to power himself up and turn himself into a primal, which he plans to basically rule as a god king, and use his power to try and end the 1,000-year war as well. I believe he kills one of the... I think he kills an Ascian. I think he does. You killed another one too. Like, there's Ascians dying all over the place. But anyways, he does that. You end up killing him, and after that, you tell everybody in the city. It's like, hey, this is a lie, right? Like this, like the dragons didn't start the war. We did. So, and it basically, like, again, turns their whole society upside down, because their whole society is based on that lie, and turns the whole society upside down and breaks everything down. There's riots going on in the outer cities, and within the actual main city, there's like, people trying to burn things down. Emeric has somebody try to assassinate him. All kinds of just craziness going on, because obviously if you tell us, a society, it's like, hey, everything you based your life on is a lie, well, people are going to get angry, and some people aren't going to believe you and think that you're a heretic because it's a very religious city, all that stuff, and it's just crazy. But you do end up getting to the point where you think that you've created peace, and one of these smaller dragons comes into a city, to see like this peace offering like symbol that's been put up, and this is after I missed a part. So it's like Estinian is the Azure Dragoon, and he has one of the eyes of Nidhogg, and he uses that to power himself up. You and Estinian end up going to fight Nidhogg, who had the eye of Hraesvelgar to basically enable him to continue living, because they're like, the dragon's life force is in their eyes, and rips that eye out of Nidhogg because he had his eyes ripped out earlier, like years and years ago. But Hraesvelgar gave him his eye so that he could continue, right? And yeah, Estinian rips one of the eyes out, and you end up giving it back to Hraesvelgar, so he has both of his eyes again. Yeah, and anyways, you kill. Oh, that's how he ended up with it. When you kill the what's his name? The Archbishop who had the second eye, because the Azure Dragoon has one eye, and then the other eye was missing, and it ended up being in the original Azure Dragoon's like chest or whatever. And the Archbishop had popped it out and then used that power to turn himself into the primal god. And then after you kill him, Estinian, he takes both of them and he's like, I'm going to get rid of these forever. But before he can do that, the power of both the eyes is too much for him, and it overtakes him, and they fuse with his body. And then while going back to where I was, while you're like having this like peace ceremony, Estinian comes by and like tries to like gravely wound the dragon that showed up for the peace offering, in order to like warn other dragons away from doing it, like there shall be no peace kind of thing, and if you do, I'll kill you kind of thing, because Nidhogg's crazy. Yeah, and that all leads up to like the eventual fight where you get Americ and Hraesvelgar to meet, and when they meet, they kind of realize it's like, hey, we're both losing somebody that we consider a brother and like a great friend. If we work together, Americ would be losing Estinian because he's probably going to die. Like there's almost no way to save him. And Nidhogg would definitely be dying, right? Like, so you're probably going to lose one or both, right? And I guess when Hraesvelgar sees that the leader of the city is willing to give up his brother and like best friend, that he can do the same. And Hraesvelgar shows up to fight Nidhogg when the city is attacked again, because it's been attacked multiple times. Since you've been there, you fought it off once, even like, yeah. Hraesvelgar shows up. He gets in a fight with Nidhogg. It's this big epic like scene. It's really cool to watch. And eventually, Hraesvelgar is losing the fight. At least it seems, he basically, it seems like he lets Nidhogg win in a way. And his head's pinned down on the ground. Nidhogg has him in a position where he could kill him pretty easily, but he hasn't done it yet. And then it's like Hraesvelgar opens his eye, and his eye is gone again. And it's like, wait, where is it? It's behind the Warrior of Light, powering you up, and it's like the most epic moment. It was one of those where I had to get up and I was walking around my room, I should say. I got up out of my chair. I was pacing around my room while I was waiting for Q to pop so that I could go and fight Nidhogg, because I was so amped up to just, I wanted to beat his ass. I wanted to kill him. I was so hyped up to fight this guy. And then the fight itself was incredibly fun. It was so much fun. And it was really good, like mechanics and everything. It was perfect. Like, it was perfect for the climax to this story. And then, of course, after, they can't just let you have like this awesome cinematic that goes into this awesome fight. There's another outro cinematic, and that outro cinematic was just insane, right? Like, Estinian, who was Nidhogg at the time, that's who you were fighting. Basically, you had beaten him down, and he was just like sitting there, like catching his breath, barely able to move. But the eyes are still attached to his body. So you and Alphino, the Warrior of Light, and Alphino go over and try to rip the eyes off of Estinian. And of course you can't. It's just they're stuck on too tight. It's like really difficult. I'm sure it looks like it's causing Alphino pain. It looks like it's causing the Warrior of Light pain. And then the coolest thing happens. Something I wasn't expecting, because both these characters are dead at this point. the like spirit of Ysael comes by, or comes back and puts her hand on Alphino, and then the spirit of Archbishop, same thing, puts his hand on the Warrior of Light, and then through that, like, you're able to like pull the eyeballs off, like they give you their strength so that you can do it, and you pull them off, and you end up being able to save Estinian. And of course, you throw the eyeballs off the ledge of the bridge. It's like, oh, they're gone forever. No, they're not. Of course, there's an Ascian. Ascians get them, but yeah, like it was just it was the most emotional moment for me with it through the whole story. Like it's difficult to talk about again. It like gets me emotional again. That was crazy. That was so good. The climax was just perfect. Like, and then there's so much going on, because you would think like, hey, this is kind of the end. This is where like the story ends for Heavensward, but it doesn't. It keeps going. Like it goes into like you threw the eyeballs off. The Ascians get them. They give it to one of the old Crystal Braves guys, and he's out of his mind, and he uses those eyeballs, sacrifices himself along with hundreds of other people to summon Bahamut. Papalimo sacrifices himself after you like just get him back to seal away Bahamut, just like in the cinematics. It's so good. It's so good. You know, and then there's the Warriors of Darkness, like I said. There's a whole storyline with that. You find out that during your climax like fight with them, it seemed like it was just going to be some kind of... It didn't feel like it was going to be like that much. Like, it just didn't feel... It felt stupid, right? Because everything else had been so epic leading up to that, and then it's like, oh, well, there's this. And you're having your fight with them, and it's like after you win your fight with them, you find out that they are dead. They had to die to come to your world. And it's like, wow, they sacrificed a lot to try and save their world. And Urianger, who you basically had thought was double-crossing you, completely betrayed you, is actually still on your side. And it was like a triple cross where he was on your side, and then he was acting like he was on their side, but he didn't tell you, but he was really still on your side. It was crazy. It was so unexpected for me. I thought he would just like turned evil and we were gonna have to kill him. Like, that's what I thought happened. And he shouts out, like, you know, during this cutscene or whatever, it's like, use your crystal or whatever. You use your crystal, and it takes everybody that's there with you and all the Warriors of Darkness up into like Heidelin's light, and you get to see Menphilia for the final time. Even though I don't like Menphilia, like, she's been my least favorite character throughout the entire storyline of A Realm Reborn, Heavensward. Like, I was really glad in Heavensward I didn't have to deal with her anymore. I just didn't like her. I didn't like her character. I didn't like her story, any of that. But it was kind of crazy because she actually becomes this super important person, and then it's like, okay, I don't hate her storyline anymore. I don't dislike her as a character as much. And it's really emotional again, because it's like she's saying goodbye to everybody, because she's going to help the Warriors of Darkness with their home world and try to save it from being completely engulfed by the light. And there's another world that was completely engulfed by the void, but she's going to go try to save this other world along with the help of Heidelin. And it's just... Yeah, like that's pretty much the whole story. There's other stuff I'm sure I'm forgetting, but that's kind of like my recount of the story. I want to go back and play it again because it was so good. I want to go back and play it again. I want to see it again. I'll definitely do that at some point. There's very few games that I've finished the storyline, and it's like oh, I just need to start over. It's tempting. I want to do a New Game Plus and start over, but I also I have Stormblood and Shadowbringers and Endwalkers to work through still. Like, there's a lot left, and it's pretty crazy. So yeah, those are my thoughts. My opinion is the game Heavensward is just incredible. 9.8 out of 10 storyline and gameplay wise. Everything is just so good. I absolutely love it. It really gets me. If you can make it through A Realm Reborn into Heavensward, you're hooked. It's just there's a 150 hour gameplay wall between that and between you and the good stuff, which there shouldn't be. There needs to be a way around that. I really hope they end up finding a way to get around that, because I know that's where most people drop off. That's where I've dropped off when I played in the past. This is the 4th time I've tried to play Final Fantasy. This is the longest I've ever played it, I should say, without getting completely bored of the game or tired of playing. Usually I only play for 2 weeks, and I've been playing for about 10 weeks now total. And it's just my main game at this point. I feel no need or reason to go to other games, because every time I play a little bit more, I unlock more and so on. New side things, side quests, or not even quests, but side. I don't know. I know there's stuff some sort of endless dungeon or something like that, and there's raids that I need to do. There's extremes, and then there's ultimates, and it's I don't know. I feel like the game keeps getting bigger and bigger the further I get into it. It's yeah. I could go on talking about it forever at this point. I could probably put another hour into this, but I'm not going to do that, because then this would be ridiculously long. So, anyways, I hope you guys liked the video. I hope the microphone improves the content. I hope that you subscribe and like the video, leave a comment, and I will see you in the next one.